Hey everyone, this is Kura from I Art Kura. I know, I'm actually talking now, so forgive me if I sound weird. And today, I wanted to answer a question some people have asked several times. What should I get? An iPad or a graphic display tablet? If you saw my unboxing video, I currently own the 2021 12.9-inch M1 iPad Pro, and after using it for almost 2 months, I wanted to give some of my thoughts regarding this. I will be drawing both Travelers from Genshin Impact using Procreate for the iPad and Clip Studio Paint for the display tablet to compare them. I know there are differences in terms of brushes and functions within each of those programs, and knowing that Clip Studio Paint has more tools than Procreate, the final product may look a little different. But note that this video is mainly comparing the drawing experience between the iPad Pro and the graphic display tablet. And just a quick note before we start, if you know your tools and have worked with digital art for a long enough time, both the iPad and the display tablets are great options. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with the M1 iPad Pro. I've been using the iPad for other activities such as note-taking, reading, and watching videos, and it definitely performs this task without any issues. But what about digital art? First of all, pros. Number 1, it is extremely portable compared to a large graphic display tablet. This really encouraged me to draw more frequently since graphic display tablets are way too heavy to carry around. This is probably why I've just been drawing on my iPad for the past few weeks. It also takes a while to set up my display tablet with the stands and numerous cables, so it makes sense that I kept my hands on drawing on my iPad. In other words, it was an excellent sketchbook that never ran out of paper or ink. Number 2. Procreate is extremely affordable compared to other professional art programs at around $10. I know Clip Studio Paint is available on the App Store as well, but you need to pay around $2 every month to keep your license when it has a one-time payment of $50 if you purchase it on your PC. $50 may seem like a lot, but it often goes on sale for 50% off, so you can most likely get it for $25, which seems more reasonable compared to the version on the iPad. But back to Procreate, it is capable of most things other advanced art programs like Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint can do, which is why I think $10 is an affordable option. What's even better is that there are some tools like Liquify which can be essential in polishing your artwork that Clip Studio Paint doesn't even have. Number 3, it has an incredible screen for higher quality images with a precise color accuracy. Because the M1 iPad Pro has the mini LED technology, the display quality is outstanding, which may only be present in some of the more expensive graphic display tablets like the upper-end Cintiqs. I just find it amazing that you can draw with such a great screen at around this price. And of course, this heavily depends on what film you decide to use on your iPad. Like using a paper-like film may not have as much clarity as the bare iPad would, but as I mentioned in my Q&A video, if it helps you draw, then I say use it. And lastly, number 4. I know I said I was going to talk about the artistic aspects of this device, but I'm just going to say it since I believe this is an important pro for some people that are trying to make their decision. The M1 iPad Pro is definitely capable of being a computer on its own. Graphic display tablets aren't really computers or a self-functioning tablet like the iPad, so really the only use for it is to do art. I'll dive more deep into this once I go over to the display tablet side, but I felt like this was an important topic for people who can really utilize the note-taking and video watching capabilities of the iPad. Then the iPad can definitely be worth the price for you than a graphic display tablet. And now the cons. Number 1, it is expensive. I know it's weird saying this because I just talked about how affordable Procreate is, but we all know the new M1 iPad Pro is frickin' expensive. The iPad on its own is around $1,000, and that's without the Apple Pencil, films, cases, etc. And the second-gen Apple Pencil is also not cheap at around $130. Compared to other styluses that cost around $10 to $30, it's hella expensive. But as other artists probably say, I don't really recommend other styluses unless you're trying to take notes, because pressure sensitivity can really bring your artwork to a new level. And as unfortunate as it is, this pressure sensitivity only works with the Apple Pencil. So, if you're purchasing the iPad Pro, it's probably a good idea to think about how much of the other functions you will use. While it is capable of taking other tasks like notes and games, if you're not a heavy user, you may be able to save a lot of money purchasing an entry-level graphic display tablet. Number 2, the screen still feels small compared to a large display tablet. Out of all the iPad, it indeed has the biggest screen, and I definitely feel like it has the best experience coming from a smaller iPad 6 screen. But graphic display tablets just have much more diversity in terms of selection, and you can get a large screen if you're willing to pay extra. Of course, having a bigger screen doesn't automatically improve the quality of your artwork, but I do think it decreases the time you spend on a single drawing pretty significantly. Working on a smaller screen can cause you to focus too much on a single part of the drawing, which you would need to fix once you zoom out. So it's just a lot more zooming in and out in terms of adding details to your paintings. This is probably crucial for people who can't spend too much time drawing. I'll get into pricing and screen size for this next section. Now to the graphic display tablet. I do want to say that a lot of the points overlap since the Pro here may have been a con for the iPad and vice versa, so I'll try to keep it short, but forgive me, there's a lot to talk about. First is the screen size. You have a lot of space to work on a display tablet. There definitely are smaller graphic displays, but the price of a display tablet with a 15.6-inch screen isn't too bad compared to getting an M1 iPad Pro. I'm currently using the XP Pen Artist 15.6 that I've been using for almost 5 years without any issues. I believe it costs around $250 at the moment in Amazon compared to the M1 iPad Pro, which starts at $999. And you're stuck with the 12.9-inch screen, which is still better than the 11-inch iPads, but compared to the 15.6-inch screen I've been using, it definitely feels different. And if you wish to upgrade, there are much bigger screens like the ones that are 24 inches that a lot of webtoon artists use to draw more quick. And as explained previously, the good thing about having a larger screen is that it takes less time to finish a piece, since you don't need to zoom out to check if everything's drawn correctly. Number 2, Clip Studio Paint is much more affordable on your PC or laptop compared to the iPad. As you can probably tell, Clip Studio Paint is my absolute favorite when it comes to art programs because it has countless sources and brushes you can use for free in their assets library. And as I mentioned earlier, it's just cheaper and easier to use on a PC. This especially applies to artists that strive to draw comics, mangas, or webtoons instead of illustrations. While it is possible to draw webtoons on Procreate, it can be a little more challenging to manually draw effects and add dialogues to the boxes. I think I read somewhere that Clip Studio Paint is specifically designed for anyone trying to draw mangas, so it has a lot of different tools for you to finish your comics in time. Number 3, graphic display tablets with shortcut keys save so much time when you draw. Sure, the iPad has the tap feature to undo strokes and double tap feature on the Apple Pencil to alternate between brushes and erasers, but it's still limiting compared to the keys available on a graphic tablet. Some display tablets don't have any, and you may not think it's essential if you're used to the whole Control-Z method, but if you're deciding on the tablet you're going to get, I highly recommend purchasing ones with keys. My Artist 15.6 has 6 keys in total, and though I only use 3 most of the time, it's just really nice to have it there when I'm trying to switch tools. Also, having physical keys decreases the chance of pressing a wrong command since it's less sensitive than registering touches. This sometimes happens when I draw on my iPad and my palm registers as an undo function, which I would need to redo the action to bring it back. However, for cons, number 1, as mentioned earlier, it is so heavy. I mean, some people are complaining that the M1 iPad Pro is too heavy for them, but graphic display tablets are on a different level since they aren't really built to be carried around with in the first place. This means you really only can use it at home with everything set up. I'll talk more about this next, but it also has a lot of components on top of the tablet itself, such as the laptop, wires, pens, and more. It's worse if you get one of those display tablets with a chargeable stylus, which I would recommend avoiding since you can be forgetful in charging it before use. Again, this can discourage you from drawing more often, especially if you have school or work majority of the time. It's hard to find time to draw unless art is part of your career, which then I guess you have access to the tablet more often. This is part of the reason why I think graphic display tablets are more for professional or aspiring artists out there who are dedicated in doing digital art for a long period of time. Number 2, as previously mentioned, it is not a computer. In other words, you must have some sort of PC or laptop in order to use your graphic tablet, and there are a couple of things that kind of suck about this. First is that it really adds weight when you're traveling or bringing your graphic display tablet somewhere else. This also means you need to bring a couple of wires to set up and connect to your computer, which is still a lot of work. Second is that you can only use it as a secondary monitor to draw. It's not a self-functioning iPad for you to carry around and take notes while watching YouTube. The quality of the screen is also most likely not as great as your laptop or iPad, which limits your use of it as a secondary screen too. Maybe this is a little different for the higher up Wacom tablets, but I found myself constantly rechecking the color on my laptop screen to double check if everything was alright. So it really has limited functionality compared to the iPad, but it's built for art, so you can't expect it to have multi-functionality like an iPad does. Though, as an artistic tool, it does an outstanding job of providing speed and comfort in creating high-quality artworks. So in conclusion, what's better? I think it really depends. If you enjoy sketching wherever you go and have digital art as a light hobby, then I recommend purchasing the M1 iPad Pro since you can use it anywhere you go. I also recommend it to any students or workers who are looking for a laptop replacement since you really can do anything with it by itself. On the other hand, if you're taking digital art as a more serious hobby and wish to draw detailed illustrations, then I believe graphic display tablets are more suitable. Since it is specifically designed for art, it is easier to draw full illustrations using hotkeys while utilizing the larger workspace. There are also plenty of cheaper alternatives you can use to start out until you decide you're ready for the pricier ones. Like always, comment down below or reach out if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.